Hello, welcome to Facebook Live with Bodywise Bodywork. And today we're talking about happiness and earworms. Have you ever heard of earworms? I'm excited because earworms are from one of the books by Douglas Adams, a comedian and author. And earworms were something that people would put in their ears that would translate different languages from people in outer space or individuals or aliens. So they're kind of funny. But the interesting thing about an earworm is that the earworm tells you, it interprets what is happening around you or what the individuals and people around you are saying. When we refer to an earworm here, an earworm is something being said in your ear. In our case, it would be, for example, a song playing repeatedly over and over and over again. So they call it an earworm because it's as if there's something repeating this song in your ear, when in fact it is your own mind repeating the song. What makes our mind do repetitive things? Think repetitive thoughts. Review repetitive songs and only short pieces of songs. I'd like to encourage you to leverage that ability of the brain to be repetitive. We are creatures of habit, and when you instill good habits, then you have a positive outcome. When you end up with not so good habits, then you end up with a less than optimal outcome. So use the benefits of our brain, that is to say, the earworm in your head or in your ear, that is repetitive, that does something and says something and repeats it over and over and over again. And that's how you can train your brain to think more happy thoughts, to be in a chronic state of happiness. Now, I watched a video recently about a woman who's a life coach, and she was talking about feelings and how the things that people do around us are not the things that cause us to feel good or feel bad, which is very interesting. And I enjoyed listening to her speak about this because she said, other people don't have control like that over us. Situations and circumstances do not have control over us, but the truth is we have emotions, and emotions are created because of the way we think about something that happens, because of the way we think about a person or the way we think about a situation. So the truth is, you can use this idea of earworms, which is a repetition in your mind, to create thoughts. And those thoughts can create then or result in an emotion that you determine, that you predetermine. And in our case, we're discussing happiness today. So I'd like to encourage you to discover for yourself what it is that you can think repetitively, that sort of song in the back of your head idea that will result in the emotion of happiness. So emotions are a result of the thoughts that we think and the ways in which we think, and you have control over what you think. So take a minute and choose a series of thoughts or a set of thoughts that will elicit the right emotion, the positive emotion, the goodness that happiness can bring in your life. From the research regarding earworms and repetitive songs in your head that roll over and over and over again, there are certain things that you can ensure in your thinking patterns that will enable you to promote these ideas of emotional happiness. So they can be relatively short, not much variation in them. I recommend not using the word don't in your mind, because your mind doesn't hear the word don't, it hears everything else. For example, during baseball season, when a coach says, don't look at the base, he was saying, don't look at the ball. Don't look at the ball. Don't look at the ball. What kids were hearing was, look at the ball, look at the ball. They weren't really hearing the don't. In fact, I myself was hearing the don't look at the ball. And it made me look at the ball. But I was a spectator, so in my case, that was all right. So use positive things. I can give you an example of something that I have repeating in my mind on a regular basis, and that is from the most recent Star Wars movie. There was a character who was saying, what was it exactly? Something like, I and the Force are one, the Force is one with me, something like that. I transformed that into my heart and my mind are one. And so that's my earworm that I repeat over and over and over again. And that is a prompt for my mind to listen to the intelligence of my heart, for my mind to remember that my heart has a say in the kinds of things that I do and the things that I feel every moment, and that every moment I have a choice to listen to what my heart has to say. So take advantage of your earworm and the repetitive patterns that your mind loves to have, and choose something to train your mind to happiness. It should be relatively short and a little sing-songy. I know my cousin, Jane McGarry, who's listening right now, still has in her mind that little ditty of a Band-Aid song from when we were growing up. That was a long time ago. So that's fun. She can change that little ditty into something that elicits joy and happiness in her heart by changing the words. So with that, I encourage you, create your own earworm, not heartworm. That's my brother and his dogs. Unfortunately, they get heartworm. Create your own earworm that elicits happiness in your life, and allow that to be a repetitive thing and that song in the back of your mind. And until I see you again next time, think head-wise, feel heart-wise, and move your body-wise.